Remember, Ramana's teaching is the Upanishads. His teaching is the Upanishad. The Upanishad is just the true teaching as it's expressed to us in its highest form. The Vedas are the highest authority in Hinduism. Ramana is the Vedas. He is the Vedas. He is the Upanishads. The mountain where he lived, Arunachala, is the south. Arunachala is Shiva. Traditionally and mythologically, Shiva was the god who taught yoga to humans. The first yogi, Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala is often called Arunachala Shiva. What is Arunachala? Arunachala is the mountain where Ramana lived. Spent almost all of his, or I think all of his adult life. Yes, all of his adult life. What is Arunachala? Arunachala is the self within. What is Ramana? Ramana is Arunachala. Arunachala is Ramana. He is the living guru on the worldly plane. He is still here as Arunachala. And he is the Sadguru, the essential guru that is within us too. Kimara, thanks for being here. Nice to have you with us. So, one of the interesting things about Ramana's writings is that most of his writings were written in response to a request. So, Who Am I was written in response to a devotee asking him questions. And the questions and answers form Who Am I? The text Who Am I? The 40 verses on reality, Ulladi Narpadu, and the essence of instruction, Upadesha Salam. These are both also written in response to request from devotee, Murugana, and so on. Bhagavan picked out what he thought were the most important verses of the entire Bhagavad Gita, and he picked out, I can't remember how many verses, is it maybe 30 verses? Again, he picked these out after being requested to do so. He even picked out the most essential verses from Vivekachudamani. I think, I can't remember again, maybe 5, 6 or 7, 8 verses, something like that, from Vivekachudamani that he found that he thought were the most essential verses of the teaching. And again, at a request. But there are a few original works of Bhagavan that he wrote spontaneously. And these were some of the hymns he wrote for Arunachala. Some of the hymns, some of the songs, some of the devotional songs he wrote for Arunachala, he wrote these spontaneously, unasked. Some of the hymns he was asked to write, but some of them he wrote unasked. And you can see in these hymns he is pouring out his devotion, his love for his guru. The guru whose power seized him and took him into the self. and who, as a young boy, after attaining liberation, he felt drawn to go to Arunachala and stay by Arunachala's side for the rest of his life. In these hymns, Bhagavan Ramana tells us that just by thinking of Arunachala, we can attain liberation. Arunachala, thinking of Arunachala, is the thought that drives out all the other thoughts, and then eventually takes us beyond even the thought of Arunachala. Just the way I talk about Ramana. Ramana talks about Arunachala. Ramana did not encourage people to worship him, but he encouraged people to worship Arunachala. He encouraged people to walk around Arunachala, to pray to Arunachala. These spontaneous songs and hymns he wrote out of love for Arunachala. I think in the collected works, you can read these hymns in the collected works of Sri Ramana. And I think in the introduction to some of them, it tells you which ones he wrote spontaneously. I can't remember which ones. And I think in the introduction it describes how he tried when these songs, these hymns, these poems of devotion and love started to arise in him, he tried to ignore them and just carry on. But they kept on coming, and so he wrote them down. And on his deathbed, when Ramana's body was dying, his devotees gathered round him and sung one of the hymns he had written to Arunachala. And reportedly, Ramana opened his eyes and tears of joy were streaming down. So just as Ramana had love for Arunachala, let us have love for Ramana Arunachala. They are one. Or if you have your own guru, please, please love who is in your heart, what is in your heart. Kamaya asked a lovely question about whether we need a guru. Ramana's answer was like this. Ramana said, people said to him, oh, you say you don't need a guru? How can you say this? All the scriptures say you need a guru. And Ramana said, I never said you don't need a guru. I just said that guru does not have to be in human form. So Ramana's given us everything we need. Not only has he given us his presence, his example by the life he led, not only his writings on self-inquiry, but also his devotional outpourings, his devotional hymns. So we can follow the path of bhakti and the path of knowledge, path of surrender, and path of inquiry. And he has given us his guru, himself, Arunachala. So we can have satsang just by being with him. Just by thinking of Arunachala, you have satsang. Just by thinking of him, you have satsang. And the thought of him will eventually take you to yourself. And this is the power of his love for us and our love for him. Or whoever your guru happens to be. Or however you relate to that divine thing, the absolute God. The power.